Hey, what is up guys? My name is Zengso, and today I will be showing you how you can double or even triple your FPS on all of your games, including Fortnite, Minecraft, CSGO, whatever game you play. If you want to go from 30 to 60 FPS, or from 60 to 120, without having to buy a completely brand new PC, watch this video to the very end and implement the tips I will be showing you. If this guide ends up helping you out, I would really appreciate a like. If you want to see more tutorials like this one, consider subscribing. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the video. First, let's talk about by how much these tips will benefit you FPS wise. In my opinion, there are 4 different categories for FPS ranges. 0 to 30 FPS is, in my opinion, pretty bad. For most people, this range of FPS would be extremely annoying to play with, and for most people with motion sickness, nearly unplayable. 30 to 60 FPS is pretty good. It's not going to be buttery smooth or anything, but it'll get the job done. 60 to 120 FPS is the sweet spot of FPS. It feels great, and there's really no reason to want more FPS than 120. And the last category, 120 FPS and above, is, in my opinion, rather overkill. At this point, you will hardly notice any changes FPS-wise. Using these tips will most likely allow you to go up by around 1 category. So if you're generally getting 30 to 60 FPS, you will most likely be able to reach the 60 to 120 FPS range. So, let's get into the tips. The first thing you have to do is search for the control panel. You can do this by clicking here, in the bottom left-hand corner. Open up your control panel, and search for power options in the top right-hand corner. Click on power options, and this screen should pop up. As you can see, my computer is currently set to balanced. To increase FPS rating on games, you're going to want to select high performance instead. This may be hidden under hide additional plans, so if it looks like this, simply click on the arrow beside it. This setting will greatly boost your FPS, although it'll drain your power more rapidly. If you are using a computer and not a laptop, so a device that's constantly hooked up to a power source, or have a laptop with a decently large battery, this shouldn't be a problem. The next tip is rather simple. Press Windows R on your keyboard, and this window should pop up. If this doesn't work, simply search for Run in the bottom left-hand corner. When this window pops up, type in %temp%, and this folder should open up. As you can see, this folder is filled with tons of random files. What you want to do is select all of the files and delete them. Don't worry, this won't have any negative effects on your computer. This folder stores temporary files that your computer generated and used at one point, but just doesn't anymore. Deleting them will not only create more hard drive space on your computer, but will greatly improve the performance of your games. In order to delete all of the folders, press Ctrl-A and then the delete button, or you could right click and press delete here. If this window pops up, click on do this for all current items and press skip. Again, click on do this for all current items and press skip. Depending on how long you've had your computer, this could take anywhere from a couple seconds to a couple of minutes. As you can see, I only have 3 more folders and 1 file in this folder. Now that that's done, let's move on to the next tip. Go to your desktop and open your recycling bin. This step is very similar to the previous one. Simply delete all the files here. When you delete a file, it doesn't actually get permanently deleted. It simply enters this recycling bin and is kept here for a period of time before being automatically permanently deleted. Storing these files may decrease the speed of your computer, so I would suggest to just delete them all. Again, Ctrl-A, right-click, and click on Delete. The next step is to go to your local disk drive. To do this, open the Explorer and go to this PC. Right-click on your main drive and click on Properties. Select Disk Cleanup. Now, this step might not be very beneficial to you. It really depends on the computer. For me, I only gain around 128 megabytes by cleaning my disk, which really isn't that much. But for some people, this might be 10 or 20 gigabytes or more. If the amount of disk space is under 1 gigabyte, I would suggest you just skip this step, since it's not really that useful. If it's over 1 gigabyte, I suggest deleting it. I'll show you how to do that right now. You can select and deselect whichever files you want to delete. The most important one to delete is thumbnails, since it takes up 120 megabytes. Simply click on Clean Up System Files. Again, depending on how much you have to clean up, this may take anywhere from a couple seconds to a couple of minutes. When you're done, simply click on OK. Click on Delete Files. When you're done with that, open up the control panel again. And in the top right-hand corner, search for Advanced. Click on View Advanced System Settings under System. Under Performance, click on Settings. Here, you can select and deselect different animations that play on your desktop. Visually, these are very appealing, but performance-wise, they'll definitely slow down your computer by some degree. Currently, I have my settings on Let Windows choose what's best for my computer, but if your FPS is rather low, you can simply switch it to Adjust for Best Performance. This will disable several animations that your computer usually plays, which will in turn boost your performance. To apply these, click on Apply and on OK. As you can see, a lot of the animations are now not in use. Of course, you don't have to disable every single box. If you really want animations in the taskbar, for instance, you can select that. But if your FPS is really bad, I would suggest just leaving every box unchecked, so just keep it like this. The second to last tip is to go to the Windows search panel and type in Background Apps. Click on it, and you should see this window. These are all the apps which can run in the background of your computer. You will most likely have these turned on, so I recommend turning them all off. To do this, simply switch this off. Doing this will allow your computer to focus more of its CPU on running your game, and less on programs running in the background. For your next and final tip, you're going to want to open your Task Manager. To do this, simply right-click on your taskbar and click on Task Manager. Here, you can see all of the programs your computer is currently running, what percentage of the CPU and memory they're taking up, and so on. On the top, click on Startup. Here, you can see what programs start when you turn on your computer. Under Status, you can see if the automatic startup of these programs is enabled or disabled. If I look at Discord, for instance, I can see that it's currently disabled since I don't always use it, and it would just be in the background lowering my performance. Simply disable any programs that you don't want to start up when you turn on your computer. Be careful when doing this, however, since many programs are important and your computer won't work properly without them. Something like this, Realtek HD Audio Manager. This program is in charge of audio, so I definitely don't want to disable it. An example would be Steam. I don't always use it, so it would just be taking up CPU space in the background. To disable a program, simply right-click under Status and click on Disable. After following all of these tips, you should be able to reach much higher FPS ranges on your favorite games. When you launch your game after following these tips, be it Fortnite, Minecraft, or CSGO, or whatever game you like, I would also suggest lowering your graphics settings as low as possible, and then basically working your way up. In the end, you should be able to achieve a good balance of both graphics and FPS for an optimal experience. If you guys enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like. It really does help out the channel. If you're new and want to see more tutorials like this one, consider subscribing. Have a nice rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.